afternoon, family.
Good afternoon.
Fun fact, the Latin root of the word ordain, ordinare, translates as to place or arrange in order. Same root as the words ordinary and coordinate. Thanks to all of you for being you and for coordinating and arranging your lives so you could be right here, right now. For our extraordinary ordinand, ordainee, and right reverend to be. Ryan, thank you for having trusted me to serve as an Obi-Wan Kenobi / Morpheus style mentor. And for the gift of serving in this rite of passage as a mirror. For me, spiritually speaking, we are always the right person at the right place at the right time for our growth. Not necessarily for our comfort, but always for our clarity. In a sense, life is always offering the just right set of circumstances for our spirit's next evolution. At any given time, the spirit of life is calling our name in love. Might be tough love, but love. And the ancestors are companioning us into our callings with some version of the following mission orders. Hey, you have gifts, your cargo. The world needs your cargo. You need to give it away. Everything depends on this. Once upon a time in the Hebrew Bible book called Exodus, Moses is the shepherd of his father-in-law's flock of sheep. No pressure there. As the story goes, he finds himself in front of a mountain, staring at a bush that is on fire, burning up, but not burning out. What is coming out of the burning bush is the voice of the divine, calling Moses' name, calling him out. Hey, you. Take off your shoes. This is holy ground. Also, you will be a messenger who delivers your people who are being mistreated and suffering injustice out of slavery into the promised land by delivering your cargo gift. Consider yourself ordained. Moses replies, that can't be right. Prophet is way above my pay grade. I'm just ordinary, not qualified. Please, anybody but me. Who am I to confront Pharaoh and lead the movement? The voice replies, I'll be with you. You'll tell them I sent you. Moses says, right. But what if they ask me your name? The voice answers, tell them I am who I am. Moses replies, okay, but they don't know who I am. What if they don't listen to or trust me? Is this the way? The voice answers essentially, you can't know the way until you get out of your own way. So pray and then move your feet. You'll discover your cargo by giving it away to others. A hungry world needs to receive your calling. You need to give it. Everything depends on this discovery motion. Long story short, Moses grows, gets clear, follows some ancestral maps to his cargo, social justice. Tells old Pharaoh, let my people go, 10 commandments, leads his people through 40 years of wilderness, parts the Red Sea, promised land, arranging his rightful place in the order of all-time prophets. Who was Moses to do all that? Not perfect, technically not qualified, but as they say, the goddess doesn't call the qualified, she qualifies the called. Moses just was who he was, which was just right. Amen?
Amen.
Once upon another time, May 2023, I got an email from the Right Reverend Dr. William Sinkford saying, There's a new UU of color at All Souls, DC, called to military chaplaincy. He's in seminary, encountering the biblical tradition with a critical lens for the first time. I think he could use a connection with you if you're willing. Pop quiz. How many black male UU military chaplains does it take to screw in a light bulb? Two. Both of us. At that time, just me and Air Force Chaplain Kalani Kachela. I thought Ryan could be potentially number 3. So I met with Ryan the first time. He was who he was, distinctive in every way. Visually, he could pass for Ethiopian, African American, some kind of Latinx, South Indian, and or indigenous, even before he had locks. Who Ryan was, vibe-wise, was vintage in the best way, like a soul brother from 1970, time traveling through the 2020s. Or like the Ossie Davis character in any Spike Lee movie. The 37 years in Ryan's rearview mirror were also very unique. Practitioner of capoeira, world traveler by virtue of having been former CIA, AKA a spook. I sensed he'd been good at his agency missions, following orders, finding ways to move between spooky identities like ports. Now, he was hungry to rediscover his own identity, asking, is this the way? Ryan's cargo had started to weigh heavy on him, having unknowingly held it for decades. Over time, Ryan rearranged the shipping labels on his cargo from military chaplaincy to parish ministry, but we kept connecting. And every time we had a session, it's felt like spiritual sparring in the best way. Some version of Moses versus the burning bush. I say, hey, Ryan, you have gifts. Your cargo, i.e. ministry. The world needs it. You need to give it away. Everything depends on this. Ryan says, as some part of all of us does before every next evolution, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? I can't be right for this. This is way above my pay grade. I'm just ordinary, not qualified. Please, anybody but me. What if the people don't listen to or trust me? Who am I to be their messenger? I say, you are who you are, called. Over time, the discovery of motion of your calling will qualify you. You will find your way once you start to give it away. And those hungry for your cargo will find you. Brian says, so I should go this way, right? What should I do? I say, it depends. Who do you think you are? For me, the God presence, the great I am, is an omnipresence. Unitary, universal, present everywhere as everything and everyone ever, in a very Ubuntu way. I am because we are. So perhaps the burning bush is a Snow White style talking mirror saying to Moses, take off your shoes, you are holy ground. I am is who you are. I think this is who we UUs are. This is the key to both of our theological ancestral maps. Amen? Amen. Once upon a time called Right Now, as Funkadelic used to sing, our country appears to be burning up, in danger of burning out environmentally, politically, morally, spiritually. Coordinated attacks by modern day pharaohs on diversity, democracy, Black and brown history. full frontal assaults on every justice, racial, social, climate, immigrant, reproductive, on gender identity, health care, voting rights, equal rights. This can't be the right time to be ordained, right? Well, that depends. Who do we think we are? I think we UUs are the just right people with the just right cargo at the right place at the right time. To help restore a hungry humanity's clarity and deliver love despite all the current moment's growing pains, especially those of us who are ordained. The ecclesia, the called out ones, living this calling. Technically, we are not qualified for this never before seen wilderness. But the goddess doesn't call the qualified. She qualifies the called. She says, hey, UUs, you have gifts, your message. The world needs your cargo. You need to give it away, and everything depends on this. Everything depends on us, that we take off our shoes, pray, move our feet, and say, you are holy ground. To the colonized, marginalized, dehumanized, you are holy ground. To the misogynized, misgendered, mistreated, to the two martyred in Minneapolis and elsewhere, you are holy ground. To the unlawfully detained and deported, you are holy ground. To the dedicated and decorated service members dishonorably discharged for being trans, you are holy ground. To the hungry, the poor, the houseless, the hopeless, you are holy ground. You are precious cargo. Are we a perfect denomination? Not by a long shot, but we don't need to be. We just need to be who we are, and we'll be on the right side of history. Amen? Amen. As the story goes, as a newborn, Moses was literally precious cargo. He enters life enslaved, but with distinctive purpose, meaning, and gifts, sent to be delivered to a hungry world. But not long after Moses was born, he was shipped down the Nile River in a hidden basket to be delivered from Pharaoh's decree that all Hebrew baby boys be killed. Moses is found by Pharaoh's daughter. For his first 40 years, he grows up in Pharaoh's royal family under the identity of adopted prince. But really, Moses is a spook. Spends his second 40 years as a shepherd. At the burning bush, Moses is 80 years old. The God presence calls his name, ordains him. Then, Exodus from slavery, 10 commandments. Then, 40 years navigating the wilderness before he gets his congregation to the promised land at age 120. Who was Moses to do all that? Moses was who he was, which was just right. In other words, these burning bush words from 1992, when Ryan was busy being 6 years old, from Marianne Williamson. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Amen? Amen. Who was the poet Greg Kimura to write his poem Cargo? Not perfect, not famous, technically not qualified, 60 years old, but called. He answered love's call, discovered his truth, delivered it, and everything in this homily depends on that gift. In our UU faith, ordination is the finish line you cross after seminary, CPE, intern ministry, the MFC, MDiv, and a whole lot of paperwork. But like a racing track, the finish line is also the starting line for your next evolution. So Ryan, congratulations. Your ordination is also your initiation. Welcome to the wilderness. Which right now feels like the wilderness. But luckily for you, there is an ancestral map with these 4 cardinal points, just right sized. 1, you are holy ground. For me, take off your shoes equals connect directly to the sacred in and around you. Stay grounded in the awareness that you are no more or less holy than any other part of the whole, even those pharaohs we are called to directly oppose with tough love. Don't let anyone forget their inherent worth and dignity, especially not the man in your mirror. 2, the only way you get to know your cargo is by giving it away. Music is a part of my cargo, but the only way I get to know myself as music is to give music away. If I hold it or hide it or hoard it, I do not experience it. If I don't express music, that gift presses down on me, weighs me heavy. Eventually it spoils and it dies on the vine. So it is with ministry. Self-discovery requires motion. So pray and then move your feet. Everything grows, including you and your cargo, so there will always be more of you to get to know at age 40, 80, or 120. More gifts to discover. More that life is teaching to you and through you if you are teachable. 3, the goddess doesn't call the qualified. She qualifies the called. Someday you may be a parent. Spoiler alert, no parent is ever fully qualified for their new child. No matter how much education, qualification, training, credentials, or experience, no matter how many other children they already have, or how much babysitting they have done for other people, you ain't ready for your baby. If babies knew how spectacularly unprepared their parents would be at birth, they would never come out. But every child is tailor-made to grow and clarify you in uniquely distinctive ways. Raise your consciousness and your blood pressure in love in ways you aren't yet prepared for. The child also raises the parent. They qualify us. Ministry, like parenthood or mentorship, is OJT, on-the-job training. First, you answer the call of love, you show up. Then, the life process grows you into your calling. Lots of trials, lots of errors. And by the time you think you finally got it all figured out, it's usually Exodus time. The place and or the faces change. One way or another, the universe rearranges itself and you're suddenly in the wilderness again. Hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my goddess, what shall I do? And she answers, take off your shoes. This is holy ground. 4, you are always the right person at the right place at the right time for your growth and or clarity. Spoiler alert, no minister is ever fully qualified for their new ministry. No matter how many fully fellowship years in the rear view, no matter how many degrees or awards or how many letters after or before their name, everything grows, including you and that family system. Cargo, which always contains some baggage, but also gifts and talents. Spiritually speaking, you are always the right reverend, at the right place, at the right time for your next evolution. Starting August 1st, you will take your rightful place as the right reverend of the UU congregation of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They'll be blessed to have a shepherd like you, and you'll be blessed to have a flock like them. Try not to forget that when you're moving through the inevitable, hopefully occasional growing pains. Try to stay grateful for that clarity, even when it is uncomfortable. You have called each other's name, and you will qualify one another and help feed spirits in the community around you, which may not know it is starving, but the hungry know, and they will find you when you discover your cargo and start to give it away. Amen?
Amen.